My radiator, I just had to replace. I didn't do the work myself, but I did buy the radiator. This is the radiator with this cap. Um, I bought the radiator myself and then took it to my mechanic friend, and he and his friend put it in. I've replaced this battery, I think, 3 times since I've had this car. This is the main drive belt here. This is where the air filter goes. This is the oil, and usually it has the kind of oil that you need. This is 5-weight 30. This is the dipstick for your oil. Um, let's see. I just put power steering fluid in, which goes right here. Am I pointing? Yeah, right place. Power steering fluid right there, and then this is the transmission fluid. I just had to have the transmission rebuilt. This is the main fuse box here. I just had to have the transmission rebuilt. I found out the hard way that you don't put low quality transmission fuel or transmission fluid in a Subaru. Ever. Never. Don't do it. So I learned the hard way. Very expensive mistake. Very expensive. I felt like a total idiot, but at least I caught the mistake. Well, I knew something was wrong, but at least the mistake was able to be fixed, because sometimes you make mistakes like that and your transmission goes out, and then you need basically a whole new car. So let me see if I can. There. Okay, so I just put half of a quart, approximately half. It's a little more than about a third I put in. And it needed about a half a quart or so. So I'm gonna check it again. When you put oil in your car, you want to turn the engine on for a little bit, and then it still needs more. And then check it, and you want to check it probably like 3 times. Like dip it, wipe it off, dip it, wipe it off. And but you want that oil to circulate through the engine, because if you just pour it in and you don't turn the car on before you check it again, you don't get a proper reading of where the oil level actually is. So I'm gonna put more in, and I dumped my stick over here. Might want to get a new one, just because once it's got oil on it, it's hard to. Well, I'll just wipe it off. It should be all right. You know what I'll do? I'll do it upside down. So the reason it might seem funny that I'm using a stick, but I don't have a funnel for the oil. And what you can do is use surface tension. So you pour it on the stick and it goes in the hole rather than all over your engine, which stinks. Oil on the engine stinks. So I'm gonna do that again. Here, I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. It seems like a weird thing to do, but it totally works. And when you don't have a funnel, it's a great fix. So you just pour and you want to clear everything off the stick, or a long screwdriver, whatever you have. It just needs to be straight and like have no debris on it. No like little pieces of dirt or anything else. So you just pour it against the stick, and it goes into the hole, because the oil is viscous enough, it's thick enough, so it'll follow the stick rather than. You can do it with water too, you just have to be a little more careful. I mean, don't ever pour water in your engine though. That would be all bad. Don't ever do that. That would be terrible. But let's see. I have a very large engine. I mean, well, it's not very large, but it's bigger than the average, so this car takes a lot more oil. But rather than trying to pour it and miss, and plus it's windy. When it's windy, I just hate getting oil and different fluids on the engine, because then it stinks. Hey, how's it going? Spendic? Hey, how's it going? Hey, Highland. It is helpful. I had an uncle when I was a kid show me how to work on cars, and it's stuff you don't ever forget, and it will save you so much money, because mechanics they'll rip you off if they can. Not all of them. I wouldn't say that all mechanics are bad, because that's just not true. But if you don't know what you're doing, like I went into a big brand tire today. I had to get my, I had a huge screw in my rear, my driver's side rear tire today. Just today that happened. You know, I'm just going to add the rest. And I had to go into Big Brand Tires, and I'm not, you know, I heard them talking to a couple of their other customers, and I just know from working on cars, they weren't telling the whole truth. And it's just, you know, you just don't want to be at the mercy of people who are there to make money off of you, is all I'm going to say. And, you know, I'm not here to badmouth anybody, but, you know, come on. You don't want to ever be at the mercy of people who are there to make money off of you. Hey, Louis Balam, how's it going? But most people don't really know how to, you know, maintain their cars. And it could cost, you know, it can be very, very expensive to not maintain your car. Now I'm waiting for I think it's still too hot, so I'm going to be really careful with it. You usually don't want to open your radiator while it's hot, like at all. But I'm going to do it because I know what I'm doing. But if it spews up, don't freak out, because, all right, it's fine. Because your radiator, the fluid in your radiator is under pressure. So when you pop, if you touch the cap and you twist it, the fluid will come back up at you. So really you don't want to do it unless you know what you're doing, like me. But it's all right now. So we're going to pull that off. And the fluid is fine. It's right there. But you don't ever want to take your radiator cap off when it's really hot, because everything, all the fluid, the coolant in your radiator is under pressure. So when you take the cap off, it releases the pressure and the fluid will spew, and it's hot. And that's not a good thing. Like, I'm talking about burns. You don't want to be burned. So we checked the oil. The oil's good. I could check it again. Let me turn the engine on. I'm gonna leave you here and turn the engine on so that I can, I need to take the key here. I'll take you with me. I need to turn the engine on to circulate the oil in the engine, and then I can check it again by the dipstick and have an accurate read about where it actually stands now, since I put more in it. So I just want to let it run for a minute or two, not really very long. I already made my dog breakfast this morning. It's been one heck of a morning, truly. That there was it was huge. It was about that long. I saw him take it out, and it was really thick too. It was about as thick as my pinky finger. The screw, I don't know how it ended up in my rear tire, but it did. And thankfully, there's a safety feature in Subarus where your check engine light will go on when your tire pressure goes down. And so I knew something was up, and I checked the tires because when my check engine light goes on, I don't just freak out and think it's something with the engine. I know to check the tires first, because something, more often than not, it's usually something very simple. But let's check the oil again. But I checked that rear tire, and it was super low. And it's not safe to drive on a damaged tire. So I went and got it patched, which it'll hold until I can find a used tire or get new ones. Okay, and then it's right up to you see there's 2 holes here. 1, 2. You want it to go up to the second hole. So, yeah. So we're going to wipe that off again. Dip it again. Check it. You just want to do it 3 times. It's usually like the safe, better than safe than sorry. And you can see that both holes are covered with oil. Do you see that? See, there's 2 holes in the stick, and they both have oil in them. You can't just see straight through them. That means it's where it's supposed to be. So I was right about adding another quart of oil. Good stuff, Maynard. Okay, so we're done. I checked. I know my transmission fluid here is fine because I can see the level, and also the way that the car drives, I know that it's fine. I'm just kind of looking down into the engine here. Everything's fine. So what is that? Sometimes you'll get rodents, like when you go camping and stuff like that. Like I've had rodents literally take up residence on top of my engine, which is normal because it's warm and, you know, it's a safe place for them to be, to hide from predators and stuff. But like if you ever go camping, and you should check your engine. But that's all I'm trying to say. They usually go into the air filter, which is right here. That they like to hang out in there. I just replaced I filled up the power steering. This is power steering fluid right here. This is my main drive shaft. And let's see. This is the main fuse box. If you lift this up, you'll see all your fuses in here. I'm not going to try to get that open right now. I need a screwdriver to do that. I've replaced this battery, I think, 3 times. I just replaced the radiator. I had to get a whole new one. It was completely, the whole top tank of my radiator was leaking, which is not a good thing, because if it completely runs out of water, it will seize your engine and you will have to get a new car, period. Like, that's a really bad thing. So I'm going to replace this top part here, put it back on, and it just sits right on top here. It's not anything, you know, but it just sits right there on top. And then my hydraulic is out, so I use this really long, it's a drill bit, I think, for like drilling holes in doors. But I'm gonna take that out and put it, I leave it right here so it'll stay in its own little safe place and I never lose it. And then you don't want to let the hood fall from way up high. You want to bring it all the way down low and drop it. And there we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully maintained our car today. And I got the tire fixed. So the oil, here's the power steering fluid. I checked the radiator, it's fine. I already made Bella food. These are the 2 jars I'm saving for later for her. She had carrots, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, yellow squash, and turkey. Did I put anything else in there? No. And yeah. It's been a good day. It's been a really good day. But I know a lot of people don't know how to maintain their cars, especially young people, and also women in general. My uncle always made sure that, my mom and my uncle made sure that I knew how to handle my car, at least with basic maintenance. I know how to change oil and, you know, buy parts and stuff like that. But it's really worth it, because like I said, you never want to be at the mercy of people who are making money off of you, even if they're good people. It just gives them too much. It just is too tempting for people to rip you off. It's just not good. So you always want to know at least basic stuff about your car, so that you don't have to. How's everybody doing today? I guess we're waiting for rain today here. What's the weather like where you guys are? Let's see, let me put this stuff away. I kind of got to carry you around with me because I don't really have any hands right now. I didn't take the cooler out of the car like I usually do and set the car down. I didn't really plan on doing a live, but you know, I didn't plan on my tire going flat today either. So the first time I ever had to change a tire, we were in Arizona, right outside Quartzsite, Arizona. And the speed limit there is, I think, 80 miles an hour. And the tire blew out, going 85 miles an hour. It was scary, but we were totally safe. And I had to put my spare on in the middle of the desert. But thankfully there was somebody there to help me. I was really glad because I didn't have a brake bar. A brake bar is like a long iron bar that helps you get leverage on the lug nuts so you can actually loosen them. But thankfully this gentleman had one. So that, you know, he helped me get the tire off. And I put the spare on, and then I had to drive from Quartzsite, Arizona to Palm Desert. I think it was Palm Springs. Yeah, Palm Springs, California, to find a place that had the size tire that I needed. Nobody had them. It was wild. It's really crazy. Like, you would think that somebody else would have had the tire, but no. And nobody had new ones either. They only had used ones. So anyway, I was really, really grateful to find that tire because I didn't want to drive on my spare anymore. They're not really meant to drive that far on, but I had never driven that far on a spare tire. But you can, as long as it's inflated and it doesn't get anything stuck in it. But you can't drive very fast on a spare tire. You can only drive like 55 or 50 miles. I think you can only drive like 50 or 55 miles an hour. So you're not going anywhere fast, but you know, it's better than being stuck in the middle of the desert. So I was grateful. All right, I got Bella's food put away. I gotta put away the stove. I just use a camping stove to cook for her. Because we live in our car, I don't have access to a kitchen every day. So, but she needs to eat every day, so I cook for her. You guys are super, super quiet. Let's put the stove away. This is the tire that was damaged today. But I just took the time I took it as a hint from the universe that I should probably maintain my car today and check on other things. So I did. Oh. Went to the gym this morning. Feeling good. I think I'll go back later for a shower. Okay. There we go. This stuff put away. Hold on, this is hard to do with one hand. Okay. Come on. Oh. I keep forgetting about that. I have this bottle of leather conditioner for the interior of my car. Because I have leather interior, not the seats, but the trim is leather. So when I wash the car, I typically use that leather conditioner because it leaves a nice sheen on the trim inside the car, which is like, you know, this car was given to me, so I like to take good care of it. I would take good care of it whether I bought it or it was given to me, really. But okay, everything's put away. Huh. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Need to find a trash can to throw away this stuff from her breakfast. Oh yes, and turkey. Did I say I fed her turkey? Turkey, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, and yellow squash. Yes, that's right. Okay. All right. Okay, and I think Boo Boo needs a waka waka. Okay. But yeah, we're all good. We're buttoned up. Everything is back in order the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, it's all good. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. And it's gonna rain here soon, so, or at least that's what the weather forecast says. It says there's 100% chance of rain. And I believe it because the weather's been kind of funky lately. It was just 75 degrees like 3 days ago. Go figure. Wild. And thanks for hitting the like button. I appreciate that. It helps the channel, and I actually genuinely appreciate it. So, on to the next adventure. It's been quite a day already, truthfully, seriously. Oh, okay. Let's do that. Let's read something. Oops. Let's read something that's good for you. Let's see. What should we read, Papa? Okay, so in the Bible, in Proverbs, wisdom is always spoken about as a woman. When I was on the radio, I took the name Are You Wise? Because wisdom is like my thing. That's what I pursue. And no one can ever take your wisdom from you. So I always thought it was a good idea to pursue wisdom and self-discipline because no one can ever take it from you. And there's no law against it, you know, like you're doing real good if you cultivate wisdom and self-discipline. So Psalm 3:15 says, she, meaning wisdom, is more precious than rubies, and all the things that canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. I love that. I love when the Bible talks about wisdom. This is my Bible. It's kind of being held together by tape and prayers. You can tell I've read it a lot. It's my favorite book, I have to say. I have a number of books I really, really like, but the Bible is my favorite. Let's see, what is the Bible says about God's word? It says, but man shall not eat by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. The Bible also says that thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, like it will never lead you astray. It's a beautiful thing. I've never found any other book that's quite like it. The Torah is close, because when you read the Bible, you start to understand that, of course, the Old Testament all comes from the Torah, and like Kabbalah and all this stuff comes from the Torah, all of it. And the Israelites, the Hebrews, Jews, in other words, they're not all the same though. They're not interchangeable words, but that all came from ancient Canaanite and Sumerian. Not just religions, but civilizations. And then we're talking about like back into like Atlantis times and stuff like that. Because if you read the Bible, it sounds like Star Wars. Like you read Ezekiel's like talking about spaceships and aliens, and like most people don't get that. When I read the Bible, to me it's like reading Star Wars. I think people don't really understand how cool the Bible is. They really don't get it. Because they're told that it's lies, that it's, that it's bullshit, that it's all religious, and that that it doesn't, like it's not cool to walk with the Father. It's not cool to walk with God. That's total crap. It's a total lie. Especially the book of Ezekiel. When you read Ezekiel, you're like, this is like Star Wars, dude. People are going up in spaceships and, all kinds of really cool stuff. Wheels within wheels. And I mean, it's really cool. I don't think that I always felt that way about the Bible, but when I started to read it with my eyes open, after the Father had opened my eyes, I really started to understand like how amazing it is. It's really, truly amazing. Like the Bible talks about quantum mechanics, talks about renewing your mind, talks about neuroplasticity, all kinds of stuff. Really cool. It's really cool. Like there's nothing in the Bible that, I think a lot of people just misunderstand it because they're still like they're veiled. The veils are over their eyes. But once you have it unveiled to you, it's really extraordinary. Really, truly extraordinary. And like the coolest thing ever. And not only that, but it will serve you throughout your whole life. It will, You know, it will make you wise. It will make you wealthy. It will make you blessed. And there's just no replacing that. There's no replacing that. So anyhow, I genuinely hope this video finds you all blessed. Love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your cars. Take care of one another. Peace be with you.